Ladies and gentlemen, the time has finally arrived for a video suggestion that you guys have been wanting ever since I uploaded my NBA logo ranking video, ranking all of the vintage NBA logos. I've received countless comments of you guys wanting this vintage ranking because a lot of the best logos in NBA history are no longer with us, as they have been succeeded by these newer generation logos. Some for the best, others don't even compare to their previous logos. With that being said, it's only right if we rank all of these old vintage logos from worst to best as well, because truly a large majority of these logos are better than what the teams currently have today. Today we'll be ranking the best vintage logo from each team, worst to best, voted by you guys on what vintage logo should represent each team, and we have 29 teams because the Chicago Bulls have not changed their logo since the franchise was created. Sorry Bulls fans that you're not on this video, but hey, the Chicago Bulls logo is one of the best logos in sports history as a whole, and it ranked extremely high on my NBA logos ranking, so you guys didn't need a change in the first place. Thank you guys for clicking on this video today. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy, and also make sure to comment any video ideas you want to see me make. I always look through your suggestions and I make them pretty quickly. Also, feel free to check out my channel. If you love sports, you will love my channel, as I upload twice a week covering all major sports, so I'm sure that you will enjoy. Now, without further ado, let's rank these 29 vintage NBA logos from worst to best. At 29, we have the Lakers vintage logo. This logo was used from 1947 to 1960 during their Minneapolis days, and the logo is pretty simple. Basketball backdrop, you have the Minnesota outline, and then Minneapolis starred in the center. Although this logo ranked low, Lakers fans, you could take that as a compliment, as your current logo is so classic that there hasn't been that much of a need for vintage logos. At 28, we have the Clippers vintage logo. Now, this logo only got put out of use 9 years ago, but it has been used since 1984. There isn't really that much that stands out about this logo. Simple design, simple lettering, it really is just that red basketball, the streaks behind it, and the words Los Angeles Clippers. Their upcoming logo looks to be much, much better. At 27, we have the vintage Mavericks logo. Now, this is the green basketball with the M in front of it, wearing the cowboy hat, and the words Dallas Mavericks on the side. Simple, yet kind of cool for its age. At 26, we have the Pacers vintage logo. Pretty clever overall how they made the hand holding the basketball in the shape of a P, but the basketball design is a little lackluster. It kind of looks like a tennis ball design. Besides the hand and the basketball, there's really nothing else besides the team name and then the rest of the outline of the P. Simple, but I respect what it tried to do. At 25, we have the Hornets vintage logo, and this is during their Bobcats era. Now, the reason I didn't use the older Hornets logo is because I'm using that for the Pelicans vintage logo, as the Pelicans don't have any older logos besides that one. I mean, I guess the Bobcat is designed pretty well, but nothing on here screams basketball. I mean, it kind of just looks like a construction company logo. Also, the color scheme is very lackluster. Not a fan of that light blue-orange color scheme. Happy they've done away with it. Really a forgettable logo for a terrible team. At 24, we have the vintage Knicks logo. Once again, the Knicks have had their current logo for a long time, so their vintage logo goes way back, and I guess this is the old Knickerbocker dribbling the ball. I actually really like the concept here. It definitely feels 50s, but that's also the reason it doesn't compare with these newer, more detailed logos. Very similarly, at number 23, we have the vintage Celtics logo. Once again, their current logo has been around for a long enough time that their vintage logo is extremely old, coming in the 50s. This features a leprechaun jumping with his green clovered vest, holding a cane, pipe in his mouth, and the NBA crown on him. Once again, for its time, it's probably a really good logo, but it doesn't stack up to the intricacies we see today on the logos that come out these upcoming years. At 22, we have the vintage Spurs logo. Very similar to their logo today, except of the colorful turquoise, light pink, and yellow background, which really just adds some more color and character that the logo today is really missing. At 21, we have the vintage Miami Heat logo. This actually is the only other Heat logo in team history, and it really is just a different color scheme. Instead of that red with that yellow flame, you have this more like 90s orangey color. I don't know really how to explain it, but it does look really nice. Entering the top 20, we have the vintage Suns logo. Once again, just that 90s color scheme compared to their logo today. I actually prefer this logo over the logo that they currently use because it just has more color. I love the purple, that orange and yellow just looks really nice, even though it's outdated. At 19, we have the old Nets logo. During their New Jersey era, they would wear this logo, and honestly, I love the color scheme of that light gray, darker kind of navy blue in the red. You have that shield with the basketball in the center going through the basketball rim. Definitely screams 2000s, but I actually really like it. Coming in at 18, we have the old Blazers logo. Once again, this logo absolutely screams the 2000s, but I really like this logo. The black parallelogram background looks much better than that basic modern logo that we have today, which literally is just the logo and then the words Portland Trail Blazers underneath. Gives it more character, and it does remind me of that fun Jail Blazers team from that time period. At 17, we have the older Magic logo. The same design as today, but with a lot more character, which is the same with a lot of these vintage logos. I feel like these modern logos take away a lot of the character of these older logos, which is why a lot of people long for them back. But talking about the Magic logo, it has more of a cartoony look, and the A is replaced by a star, as well as the top of the eye. I just think it has more character, looks better. At 16, we have the old 76ers logo. It really just makes you think about Allen Iverson during this time. The gold text looks great, absolutely love the red star behind the 7, and then you have that basketball with the blue streak coming out of the star. Kind of just a better Magic logo in my opinion. At 15, we have the logo that is directly in the center of the list. This is the older Nuggets logo. Now it's funny, a lot of these vintage logos really just make you think of a player. Like I mentioned, the Sixers made me think of AI. Well, in this case, this Nuggets logo really makes me think of Carmelo. I actually really like the lighter yellow and blue color scheme here. The mountain in the center. I wish they did return to this logo, but the logo they have today is pretty nice as well. But I can't even rank it that high considering this isn't the best vintage mountain logo left on this list, so stay tuned. At 14, we have the vintage Cavaliers logo. Once again, this just makes me think of Kyrie Irving. But let's look at the logo itself here. Super underrated color scheme in my opinion. I love that darker red, bronze coloring, navy blue. The Cavalier sword running up through the logo is classic, and it just looks so much better than the logo that we've been given today. At number 13, we have the vintage Rockets logo. Now, very similar how it takes place over a red basketball, except I like the font a bit better, and I enjoy the circling angry rocket around the basketball, kind of orbiting it like a planet, better than the sword going through the letter that we see on the Cavaliers logo. At 12, we have the old Wizards logo. You have that kind of skinny looking wizard, which I really dig the design actually, on that crescent shaped basketball, pointing his magic at the basketball on his fingertip. Once again, just a lot of character in this logo. Bronze color scheme looks great, and I really overall like the design. So much better than the boring Wizards logo we have today. At 11, we have the Sacramento Kings vintage logo. Once again, leagues better than their oversimplified modern crown logo that we see today. In this logo, you have a lot of detail. You have the crown over the word Kings, two jousting lances kind of intersecting across the middle, and then you have the purple basketball in the bottom. As you can see, the 2000s had these logos on lock. Entering our top 10, we have the best of the best vintage logos, and kicking us off, we have the Pelicans vintage New Orleans Hornets logo. Now, yes, Charlotte fans, I know that you guys had this logo before New Orleans did, so take as much credit as you want for it, but I chose this to go under the New Orleans team considering that this is their only vintage logo when Charlotte had numerous to pick from, such as the Bobcats logo. But that being said, this is as much as a Hornets vintage logo as it is Pelicans. At 9, we have the Milwaukee Bucks vintage logo. There are a lot of vintage Bucks logos to choose from, but personally I chose this one because you guys like this design better and I like this color scheme of green and purple better. Once again, the fierce buck in the center of the logo looks absolutely amazing with that beautiful green and purple color scheme. Love the triangle background, very unique here. And although this is an amazing vintage logo, I actually do think the Bucks' current logo is better today. They did a phenomenal job. But let's just say that the Bucks have a lot of amazing logos in their team's history. At 8, we have the Thunder vintage logo, which is actually just their Seattle Supersonics logo. The NBA needs to bring this franchise back. The logos and uniforms look great, but let's look at this logo here. Beautiful incorporation of Seattle's iconic Space Needle in the center with the basketball going up it. And then you combine that with a nice 90s color scheme of that green, darker red, this kind of brownish orange, which doesn't sound like it would go well together, but it really does here. At 7, we have the vintage Jazz logo. Now, I think they use the mountain better than the Nuggets logo. It's just more detailed. There's plenty of peaks. The color scheme is better. I love the text Jazz going across the center with the streaks at the end. This logo just literally looks like it defines vintage. It looks amazing. At number 6, we have the vintage Hawks logo. Super beautiful logo with the hawk and its outstretched wings and its talons gripping into the ball as if it's catching some prey, which is the same way a hawk catches prey out of the water and even on the ground. So I think it's super neat how they mimicked the Hawks' prey-catching movements and turned it into a logo that perfectly reflects what basketball should be. We are now entering the top 5, and placing at number 5, we have the old vintage Warriors logo. What a unique but weird logo, and it works out perfectly. Like, you don't really envision a warrior when you see this guy. It's kind of this weird alien-like superhero. He's wearing some sort of golden mask and holding this long lightning bolt as his weapon, and it looks really cool. The color scheme looks great as well, and you really just think of the We Believe Warriors when you see this logo. And the Warriors font actually looks really nice too. At number 4, we have the Memphis Grizzlies vintage logo. Now, this was also in use when they were in Vancouver, except when they moved to Memphis, they sharpened up this logo a bit, which is the logo that you're seeing right now. It looks great. This scary bear in the center absolutely instilling fear in the opponent. clawing the basketball in his right paw. And then you have this really cool Grizzlies font in that turquoise color behind the bear, which once again screams vintage. It looks so good. And then to top it all off, you have the word Memphis, nicely packaged between the G and the S of the word Grizzlies. Earning the bronze at number 3, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves vintage logo. Once again, just another fierce animal is the center point. You have the Timberwolf in the back, fangs out, just kind of yelling at you. And then you see he's kind of in between these Minnesota pine trees. So I like how they combine the center point of the wolf and then incorporate this nature around it too. And then to top it all off, the Minnesota Timberwolves font looks pretty nice as well. This logo just screams Kevin Love to me. But once again, a logo from the 2000s decade, reigning supreme. Just missing out on the number 1 spot. At number 2, we have the vintage Raptors logo. Now, I'm sure this is a lot of your favorites. You see that beautiful red and purple color combination. The Raptor dribbling the basketball is so iconic. It's classic in basketball pop culture history. No surprise, it's so much better than the logo that we see today, and I really hope that they somehow bring some variation or a more modern version of this logo back, because what we have right now, just the basketball and the Raptor claw, is pretty underwhelming compared to this. But at number 1, my favorite vintage NBA logo is the Detroit Pistons vintage logo. It honestly made me really happy to see the Pistons bring back these throwbacks a couple seasons back, but looking at the logo itself, it's beautiful. I love the flaming stallion in the background, looking fierce over the word Pistons, which you see has the 2 exhaust pipes coming out of it, shooting flames. The entire background is this red basketball surrounded by that turquoise outline. And let me just say, this is my favorite color scheme in NBA history, of that turquoise, red, and orange. I didn't think that this color scheme would look nearly as good as it does, but it looks amazing on the logo and also on jerseys associated with this team. It's crazy to me that the Pistons settle for their terrible, boring logo that we see today, probably the worst in the league currently, instead of going back to something as iconic and as sick as this Pistons vintage logo. With all that said, the Pistons vintage logo is, in my opinion, the greatest vintage logo in NBA history. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Like I said previously, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you did enjoy. Comment your thoughts, comment your rankings, and comment any other vintage logos that you guys like that I did not put on this list. As you can see, the 2000s decade really dominated these logos, as pretty much in the top 10 they all were from that era. And it's crazy how much character we see on those logos compared to the modernized, really oversimplified logos that we see today. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to check out my channel and subscribe for some more sports content, and I'll see you guys in the next Heaps video.